Throughout the latter half of the 20th century, municipalities and counties in Texas created delegations utilizing local citizens and businesses to lobby the Texas state government during the opening months of session. Volunteers paid their own expenses to call on their legislators, showcase their communities, and advocate for their issues. In the Southeast Texas Golden Triangle, there were 3 individual groups lobbying Austin, spearheaded by their chambers of commerce. They were Beaumont, Orange, and Port Arthur. Surrounding cities of Groves, Nederland, and Port Neches participated with the Port Arthur delegation, while Bridge City, Pinehurst, Vidor, and West Orange participated with the Orange delegation. According to former State Senator Carl Parker of Port Arthur, who represented this area for many years, the value of legislative groups traveling to Austin is inestimable. He emphasized that citizen voices always grab the attention of elected officials.
Well, when you look back on the history of Golden Triangle days and how it all started, you got to start with the relationship that I had as the president of the Greater Beaumont Chamber of Commerce with Verna Rutherford with the Greater Port Arthur Chamber of Commerce. We just liked each other, we trusted each other, we respected each other, and we were looking for things that we could do together. And you know, the semi or biannual trip to Austin was just one of those things that became obvious that we ought to try to do some things together. And I think a lot of people probably don't remember this, but it was also a time where, because of changing demographics and redistricting, for the first time in the history of Jefferson County, congressmen came from somewhere other than Jefferson County. And there was a lot of angst and anxiety about losing influence and not being able to protect our area as other areas were growing more than we were. So that is one of the big reasons I think that working together and understanding that we needed a larger group and a larger message was so important.
Additionally, state officials Senator Tommy Williams, Representatives Mike Hamilton, Joe Desautels, and Alan Ritter collectively advised that representation of the area by one group with one agenda would be most beneficial to the constituency of the area.
We had tough issues to deal with. Retaining our junior water rights was one that was especially vital to our area. It affected every single person in Southeast Texas. Having an ample water supply meant whether or not our petrochemical industry had the vital resources needed in order to operate and continue expanding. It meant rice farmers could irrigate their fields. Literally everyone depended on the retention of our water rights, and it worked because Southeast Texas banded together with one strong voice in Austin, supporting those of us drafting legislation and garnering support from our fellow legislators.
In 2004, the Board of Directors of the Greater Beaumont and Port Arthur Chambers approved the consolidation of their individual legislative events to form Jefferson County Days, including the Mid-County Chambers. This delegation made their first joint visit to the state capitol the following year. The dynamic Orange Days in Austin continued its highly successful efforts that year, but discussions began, and events such as Hurricane Rita brought the region closer together. Hurricane Rita heightened the need to prioritize issues in Washington and Austin. Then County Judge Carl Griffith and the Jefferson County Commissioners recognized the strong value of this countywide collaboration and encouraged this proposed transition. Representative Mike Hamilton, representing the Orange area, lent support to the value in combining with the other chambers and taking a larger delegation and stronger voice to Austin. Expenses for the events grew, and combining would ensure sustainable funding from sponsors who would no longer have to fund multiple events.
Orange County Days was great when I first started, and we came together and had about 100 people and everybody enjoyed it. But we're also having other events with Beaumont Days, we're having Port Arthur Days, And so it only made sense to bring the whole community together. And instead of 100 people showing up for each one of them, now 300 people showed up. And it made a very big impact. Instead of the sponsors giving 3 checks to everybody else, they gave 1 big check to all of us and took care of us. And we made a big difference in Austin. It's so much better when you go to funding for transportation and tell people, hey, we just want this for Orange County, or we want this for the whole place. And that's what made Golden Triangle Days the best part of bringing it all together, was the community, the people, the representation, and the support that we can show other legislators. This is us.
Then board member and current Greater Orange Chamber President Ida Chasso recalls that the Orange Board deliberated carefully during the time when they were going through a leadership transition as their longtime president Betty Harmon was about to retire. Their board became convinced that what mattered most was the strength in numbers that the alliance offered. Former County Judge Carl Thibodeau, city officials, and other local leaders knew it would take a strong commitment from everyone to make this work. And it was a step that was taken with cautious optimism. With their informed consent, the chambers voted in 2006 to consolidate into one delegation for their visit to Austin during the next session. Orange provided the first chair of the new group, Golden Triangle Days in Austin, in 2007. Dan Seifert, then with Energy Texas, served as chairman, representing Orange. Pat Avery, then with Total, represented Port Arthur, and Sam Bethea, with Energy Texas, represented Beaumont. For that first combined effort, the major concerns for the entire group included damage created by Hurricane Rita, junior water rights, and transportation issues. Education reform to meet the need for highly skilled workers for the petrochemical industry was crucial. Windstorm insurance was another important issue. The efforts of Representative Joe Desautels were instrumental in the passage of critical legislation to better prepare students for the needed education.
Prior to House Bill 5, there was one type of diploma a student could get, and that was to prepare them for a 4-year college degree. If they did not take that particular curriculum and graduated under a lesser curriculum, they were prohibited by law from going to college, which made very little sense, and it was driving up our dropout rate. So beginning in the 8th grade, now the counselors are trained with explaining to kids the 5 various pathways. If a kid wants to be a technician of some sort, or in STEM, or in engineering, or in doctor, or he just wants to be in skilled labor, all those pathways are available. And in addition to that, since that time, we've developed co-enrollment with our community colleges. So many kids now are able to graduate from high school with a certificate to go straight into the workforce in very lucrative paying jobs, particularly in the technical skill areas.
Unifying under the leadership of the Golden Triangle Days in Austin Committee, the chambers began the initial steps required to gain the desired recognition from state legislators. Currently, the presidents of each Chamber of Commerce, Regina Lindsay of Beaumont, Ida Chasso of Orange, and Bill McCoy of Port Arthur, are charged with continuing the success of Golden Triangle Days in Austin. As in the beginning, the individual chamber boards approve every agenda item, and the Golden Triangle Days Committee still plans and organizes the event. This strong partnership was founded through mutual respect with common objectives and sustained determination to combine our strengths, thus providing our area with the best and strongest unified voice in Austin, deriving numerous positive impacts on the entire Golden Triangle.